What up? Welcome to another installment of Black Hypocrisy. I'm your host with an identity crisis, the Prince of Petty. I don't normally talk about celebrities, but this topic teeters on the lines in which I talk about. So let me ask y'all something. When does comedy stop being comedy? When does edgy stop being edgy? When does free speech stop being used as an excuse? Because I've been watching, I've been listening, and truth be told, I'm not laughing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not hearing anything funny. See, this isn't about cancel culture. This also isn't about feelings. Today is simply about patterns. And when a grown man keeps circling back to the same subject matter, underage girls, age of consent, other countries, body biology at 14, 15, 16 years old, you don't get to be shocked when people start asking questions. See, people, that's not hate. That's just simple awareness. Because today we're talking about the crazy situation surrounding the comedian, Corey Holcomb. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Black Hypocrisy. Let's get it.
I keep falling into the same patterns, and honestly, it's just exhausting.
And where do you feel that exhaustion?
Living with this lady, and her daughter's crawled in the bed, and I ain't have on shit. Her daughter was she was in high school. I think she was 15. Still not legal. You just can't tell your true thoughts. Her daughter was gonna be thick like her mama. I know that much.
Yeah.
I knew her daughter was a bust down. She got pregnant like a year after I moved out. She was 16. I knew she was gonna get pregnant, goddamn it, because she used to do shit. She used to do shit to let me know, damn, this little bitch is trying to get me in trouble. That money and that fame do.
Fuck age. When that money come around, that's not how all women think. No, we're not saying he a rapist. He definitely is a child molester, but this is common activity.
Let me tell you something, America. Guess what? Guess what, America? All you dumbass niggas who ain't never left the hood. I understand why you feel the way you feel, because Master taught you the way he taught you. But if you ever leave out the United States of America, you will find out bitches is fair game at all these ages that motherfuckers is talking about right now. A bitch that's been on this earth 15, 16 years
is ready to fuck.
dick ready.
Well, that doesn't make it okay. What the
We're
hell
not
are
saying
y'all
it's
talking
okay.
about?
I'm not saying it's okay.
Well, please clarify.
But a lot of these women are children.
I am clarifying. I'm saying in America, you are limited to think that you got to wait for a hoe to be 18.
Nah.
for it to be something that's right in your mind. But do the research on these other countries and find out when grown niggas can put grown dick in holes. You'll find out. See, me personally, I would never fuck with a bitch who mind ain't developed.
Well, that's why they have an age.
But wait, let me say this. Let me say this, D.
Do it.
In other places of the world, you can grow with her. You can mold her mind or whatever y'all gonna do where y'all ain't got the influence of whack-ass United States. Because you understand in the United States of America, a bitch could say you did something, and depending on who the bitch is, that shit'll go.
I hear you on that one, but at the same time, the maturity factor, see, I think you like the fact that in those countries they can marry somebody like that because they don't know what they're doing. You just said that these girls
Who don't know what they're doing?
Those girls that young, so the guy's gonna, you just said they can grow together. You already know what you're talking about. So
Hey, I know some people where the dude had to get permission to get married to the daughter.
Right.
And they are still together. It worked.
That's an exception.
Kobe did it.
Yeah. Vanessa was underage. Yeah, that's true.
Kobe did
In
it.
high school, yeah.
Elvis did it a lot.
This ain't no new shit. Somebody say surviving iced tea.
Oh, there was nothing. Believe me, I was there.
Shit, when I was 12, my first bitch was 18, and I enjoyed it.
You were 12.
I was 12, and I went back damn near every day for a year.
You did.
We would watch Ricky Lake. She would stroke me off, and I'd smash.
You just said her name?
What we talking about in other countries, Mark, is, and Mark, listen, and Darlene, you don't have to be on this planet 18 years before you can do what the fuck you want to do. In other countries, you can be on this planet for 14, 13, 15 years, and you can fuck whoever you want to fuck in other countries. But here in the United States, there's a lot of people who only know this way. Okay, we get it. You only know this way. But trust me what I'm saying to you. How do you fuck somebody mama and their daughter? That's some hellified shit. You got to be a rock star.
We get pulled in.
Somebody say I said a 15, 16-year-old girl is perfect.
What?
Hey, bitch nigga, I said a 15, 16-year-old girl is a perfect, you can have the healthiest baby you can have with somebody like that.
That's a statistic,
I
man.
said that. If you know anything about human anatomy,
And
that's what I'm talking
one
about.
of them bitch ass
But I
niggas,
just
though.
said, in America, if a girl is 18 or under 18, then it's drama. If you fuck a girl under 18 in America, it's drama. So I meant what I said, bitch nigga. I mean, fucking little young bitches, when you grown, I don't think that helped the community, man. I'm just keeping it real. It's some shit nobody like to say. Once young girls are in high school and their bodies are developed a certain way, it look good. Look like a girl in kindergarten who got raped by a porno star. Oh my God. You ever looked at a bitch's daughter room who almost grown?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, okay.
Jesus.
This shit go out.
You know what's amazing? In 3 weeks, gonna see this whole episode on SVU. I can't crack any jokes.
This girl daughter called me, like, she was around about 8, and I didn't stop. I was just looking at her. Like,
Oh.
What?
Oh, you pervert. That's a pervert move.
Oh.
then she said something. I was like, oh.
It don't say nothing in the Bible about you that you got to stop fucking if kids walk in.
You got to get the kids used to the shit
You
grown
made
folks do.
eye contact with the kids though. Hey,
I wasn't flirting with the little girl, but I wanted to see me. I wanted her to see me
Why
fuck
would
her
you-
mama.
That don't even sound right. No, that don't sound right.
So
That don't
she could
sound
stop wondering what's happening when we close the door.
good. That doesn't sound right.
I done did some fucked up shit though. Like her son would sleep on the other side of the bed.
Frozen.
yeah, I done did that too.
That we all did that.
Yeah.
Fuck what? If she don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know the baby in the bed. I ain't fucking.
That's a baby. They can't really comprehend it.
don't
But
know.
8 years old.
They kept rolling over and she would stop.
Baby's different story. They don't even know what.
So 8 years old is worse than a baby.
Yes, baby doesn't even know what the hell's going on.
Right.
Just thinks it's getting rocked to sleep. But the little girl, 8 years old, walking
You
and
and
seeing
your
that,
mama.
that sounds like
Somebody say
shit.
I'm a sex offender because I'm fucking
Exactly,
her mama.
yeah.
I was fucking her mama in her bed. That little girl ain't had no business waking up in the middle of the night.
My thing is how you.
Did her mama know she got
Once her mama realized, I played it off. Like, oh,
who with that little girl future?
Yeah, she's
Tell
messed
what she
up.
doing right now.
she doing what her mama was doing. They always wind up doing what their mama do. It's just they always, some will even denounce their mama, but they do the same
She's
thing their
probably
mama do.
streetwalker.
Probably streetwalker.
You never know.
Working the blade.
After that, she was sexualized. In other words, she saw that. She probably
See,
got.
you at that age, Marcus, where you still fuck with young girls. I'm at an age where I fuck with girls this young and old.
It's an accident, but it happened.
Yeah, I had almost.
One day the kids walked in the room and me and the mama was under the cover naked. And then one of the little girls got under the cover and was like, oh, I was like, yeah.
I'm in here too. How old was the little girl?
Probably about 9.
Oh, she wasn't that young.
She saw why her mama ain't charging me no rent.
He was like 3 or something.
When I was in Iceland, you don't have to be no 18. I think it was 13, maybe 14.
Yeah.
That's a grunt. The vagina been on this planet 14 years. I've said this before on the show also. Do you know if a woman 16 years old gives you a baby, that is going to be 16, 17, 18, 19. That is going to be one of the healthiest babies possible. This past weekend, I saw this little girl. She had a Welch's grape juice bottle in her mouth. And she was about 5. She had the whole bottle as far as it'll go, just sucking on it, walking with her mama. Somebody said, get that out her mouth. When they took it out her mouth, that baby said, you know when she stopped crying? When a man picked her up and put her in her lap and started bouncing with it. Then she stopped crying and was looking like this. I said, that's a little growing right there. And everybody will say, Corey, what are you talking about? Corey, you crazy. Get the out of here. This little girl was in her bliss with her mouth wide open. She was just, it had the cap on it and everything. They took it out of her mouth. Then a man picked her up and started shaking her on his knee. And she was like, I said, that's a little, it's just Corey Holcomb crazy. I almost want to go back and ask about that little girl and do a documentary on her life. So they weren't never the problem. What it is, we have mass media trying to shut down the voice of Corey Holcomb and the 5150 show, and of course, the bloggers who are envious of what we do are going to join in. Ever since TMZ has gave a one-sided version of what happened, it then got to the point where even a man like me, who I don't walk around living in fear, but I fear for my life now because I see what has been said about me, and they are desperate to bring me down because the word pedophile has been thrown in the mix. And let me tell you something. This is deep. I am no pedophile. I have never been accused of being a pedophile. I have never had charges of being a pedophile. This is something that's coming from the mass media, TMZ. Ever since they said what they said, I have been, they trying to get at me for real. Let me tell you something, what they do, because they did this to Michael Jackson. They did this to Martin Luther King. They did this to Malcolm X. They did this to so many people. When they ready to come get you, they assassinate your character so people don't look at you as a human being. They look at you as a villain. So they are using mass media.
Oh my God!
I honestly have no idea where to start. That, what you guys just seen, was only a tidbit. It was only a portion of the things that people are posting online and all over the internet of what Corey Holcomb has said. Rest assured. That's just a tidbit. I didn't feel like looking all that up and having to chop all that up for this video. It's just a portion. But we can start here. Just some of the things that was said. Mind you, understand something. Corey Holcomb has denied wrongdoing. Understand that matters. These are allegations. Allegations will be allegations. But understand something. Statements are real. They're real because they were said on camera, into a microphone, repeatedly, live, on air, on your or whoever's show. And when a grown man with a platform says things like that, but surely not limited to, if you ever leave the United States, you'll find out it's fair game. Do your research on these other countries, or you can have the healthiest baby with a 15 or 16-year-old. Once a young girl's in high school and their body is developed a certain way, it looked good. Or there are a lot of countries where having sex with a 16-year-old isn't illegal. Bruh, that's not gossip, ladies and gentlemen. That is a rhetoric. And like it or not, rhetoric shapes a culture. Now, maybe someone says it's comedy. Okay, cool. Maybe Jeffrey Epstein giggled a little in his grave. I don't know. But from that, I'll ask a simple question. Very simple. Corey Holcomb should be able to answer this very easily. Sir, where's the punchline? Because I'm not laughing. In any way, what in any way? Where was that funny? I played the videos. Y'all saw and heard it with your own eyes, with your own ears. What was funny? I'll wait. Exactly. Because you see, one quote out of context, maybe. But when the theme keeps circling back to age of consent in other countries, why would you even know that? 14, 15, 16-year-olds is fair game elsewhere. Like, bro, what? Sexual maturity framed as visual qualification. Dog, what time of day are you on? Research on legality. Dog, that's not a slip of the tongue. Player, that looks like your whole lane. And the messed up part isn't just the legality discussion, it's the tone. The tone suggests normalization. The tone suggests curiosity. The tone suggests justification framing. And that's where I step in. Because my lane is the protection of children. And when grown men start explaining global consent loopholes, I don't want to hear that. I tend to get concerned. Corey Holcomb, you mentioned not telling your true thoughts in one of those videos about some woman you were with at the time, about her underage daughter, saying you knew she was going to be thicker than her mom. Okay, so you had some intrusive thoughts, basically. Let's look that up. As per Google, intrusive thoughts are as follows: unwanted, involuntary, and often disturbing thoughts, images, or urges that pop into the mind without warning. They're typically violent, sexual, blasphemous, or shameful in nature, causing significant distress, anxiety, or guilt. Something Corey Holcomb clearly doesn't have, I'm more than assuming. But that's what that phrase means. He couldn't tell his true thoughts or intrusive thoughts about that woman's 15 or so year old daughter at the time. So when that phrase gets used publicly in that context, I tend to not laugh. It's not funny. Then, to go along with stories that shouldn't be told, Corey asks his panel in another video, have they ever looked into a room of someone's daughter who's almost grown? Dude, what? That is lacking hella context. So I have to ask, why is any of this even joke material? Why is any of this considered content? What is the rest of these stories being half told? Why would these even be a story to be told in the first place? Because most men don't joke about intrusive thoughts towards minors. Most men don't even let these sentences leave their mouths, let alone their minds. Hell, the average man doesn't even have those thoughts about minors to begin with. Note I said the average man. Emphasis on that because pedophiles do exist. So again, Corey Holcomb, where's the punchline? I'm not giggling nor smiling, sir. I don't get the joke. Then he went off and called a toddler a hoe. Yeah. When someone says they saw something sexual in a toddler being comforted, that's not edgy humor. That's projection, my guy. And I don't care how desensitized comedy culture gets. There are certain lines most people don't cross. Player, that's one of them. Because once you blur the lens that way, everything starts looking distorted. I don't even understand how you or anyone can think to imagine to find something sexual in a toddler drinking juice. She cries because it was taken away, and a man bouncing her on his knee to comfort her is sexual. Where is that sexual? Corey Holcomb, where is the punchline? I'm waiting. I'm waiting, Corey. Where's the punchline? You see, we claim to protect kids. We say, leave the children alone. We tend to cancel people over mere tweets. But when a celebrity discusses global age loopholes, people laugh it off. How does Corey Holcomb still even have people tuning in to the 5150 show? I am baffled. We live in a culture where saying something wild gets labeled as bold. Discussing consent laws overseas becomes looked at as just simple knowledge. Questionable themes gets defended as free speech. And I'm asking the hard but still easy as hell questions. Why do we even need to know that? Why is that research necessary? Because if America was Family Feud and you ask 100 random people the age of consent in merely 3 foreign countries, just 3, most would not know. And the rest wouldn't care because they aren't looking. So when someone knows those very specific things and presents them repeatedly, not once, but multiple times, live on air, I question the motivation, not the legality, the motivation. Because what are you trying to do at that point? Are you letting it be known what you're into? Should I just stop looking for this non-existent punchline at this point? Or have I completely dispelled the joke? And this part here, the co-hosts, the audience, the people just nodding, encouraging. Bruh, if I sat in a room and someone started romanticizing age loopholes, I would not be clapping. I would not be smiling, joking, and carrying on, especially hearing them talking that way about a toddler. Bro, we fighting. So how comfortable have we honestly become? How desensitized? At what point do people in the room say, yo, that ain't it? Say, bro, you gotta go somewhere with that. Then you got the light-skinned dude on the 5150 show. He's Corey's biggest cheerleader. Side jeffing anything Corey say. Everything Corey Holcomb says is funny to this dude. Then the other guy, clearly I don't know these people's names on Corey's show, but this other dude, he left the show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we may low-key see why. Corey is having conversations constantly circling back to things like this. Bruh, they are normalizing this junk right before our very eyes. Now let me tell y'all something, bruh. Drop my fucking beat. This ain't no analysis. I'm just gonna recap and mainly just talk to y'all. Because quite honestly, I am flabbergasted. I am disgusted. I'm tired of, oh, it's just comedy being the shield of everything. I'm tired of the they're just jokes narrative. Then he has the audacity talking about Corey Holcomb. He has the audacity to sit up on that show and pretend to be the victim. Talking about mainstream media is out to get him. Talking about TMZ putting out the video of him and that woman causing him to lose shows. After the video that TMZ put out shows him mushing that woman in the face or punching that woman in the face, whatever the case may be. Corey, sir, you did that. It's in video. And then the issue with Anton Daniels, I didn't even know who Anton Daniels was prior to that altercation. Corey Holcomb talked all that smack. He talked all that bullshit. Wanted that man to repeat something that was already said. Playboy, in the street, you don't need to repeat nothing. It was said already. Now jump stupid. That's how that goes. You don't need to repeat it. It was said already. But then Anton offered to go out back. Corey stayed his ass in that seat. He ain't move a muscle. But then Corey comes back on air talking about he punked Anton. What? Corey Holcomb, sir, everything that's happening to you right now, it is self-inflicted. Because you don't know how to shut the fuck up. And now you got these allegations to deal with. Because hell, I don't know, dark humor, I guess? Dark humor? But to me, personally speaking, dark humor is telling a 90-year-old house patient taking 12 medications a day, I hope your life alert battery die. You know, dark humor would be telling Magic Johnson that mosquito better not be the one that left your house. You know, dark humor would be ripping off a cancer patient wig on a roller coaster because you thought it was going to fly off anyway. That's dark humor to me. Joking about ages of consent, talking about you had a good time in whatever country, calling a toddler a hoe. A young teen is the best to have the healthiest baby with. These are things one doesn't joke about. Where the fuck is that punchline? That motherfucker ain't show up yet. You want to talk about other countries. You want to talk about age loopholes. You want to talk about teenage biology. Talk about it without sounding like you fantasizing about it. But you can't. Because when grown men start debating teenage thresholds like it's a research project, it's not a bold yet interesting, intelligent conversation. Motherfucker, it's weird. Motherfucker, it's disgusting. Motherfucker, it makes you look like what the internet is calling you. You don't get to say, oh, well, in some other countries. I don't give a fuck about some other countries. You talking about healthiest babies with teenagers like you a damn fertility doctor. You don't get to rap predatory language in a punchline and call it art. You don't get to intellectualize age of consent maps like it's geography trivia. Talking about do your research. Nigga, why? Why would I need to research where it's legal to have intercourse with what we call here in America a fucking minor, a teenager, a child? You said high school bodies look good. That's not observational humor. That's justification language. Nigga, when I pick my daughter up from school, I'm not scoping out her friends. Nigga, what the fuck? What kind of weirdo shit is that? A 15 to 16-year-old is fair game. In what world is that normal conversation? You said you had intrusive thoughts, or you using your exact language, you couldn't say your true thoughts. I explained exactly what intrusive thoughts are. I ask of you, Corey Holcomb, what were those thoughts you couldn't say out loud about that young lady? Judging by everything we've talked about here and in everything you've said in those videos, I got a pretty good idea at this point. If I say I have intrusive thoughts about robbing banks, people look at me sideways. If I say I have intrusive thoughts about hurting people, people would monitor me. But intrusive thoughts about a child? About a teenager? Oh, we're supposed to not. We're supposed to call it a fucking joke. Nah, nigga, nah. That's not funny. Sir, that is very revealing. You discussed a toddler in a way that managed to make even me uncomfortable. Congratulations, because that's a milestone. And that's not even me being sensitive. That's instinct. I couldn't believe the shock on my face hearing you call a toddler a hoe. Because she was being comforted by a man in a certain way after sucking on a juice bottle and crying because said bottle was taken away. You managed to see something sexual in that. That is diabolical. And no one on that show got up and walked off. No one bat you in your fucking face. They just went with it. And here's the part nobody wants to say. When your audience shrinks, when the laughs get nervous, when the room feels tense, that ain't cancel culture. That's consequences. Comedy is built on tension, but child exploitation themes, that then becomes corrosion. And I don't care how famous you are. I don't care how raw your brand is. Children are off limits. And if you want to defend yourself, Corey Holcomb, do it clearly. And you better make sure you do it fully. Don't hide behind, oh, they took it out of context. Don't hide behind, oh, YouTubers are coming after me. Because context doesn't make those words sound any better. Context just adds more of them, really and truly. And here's my stance, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not making allegations because I don't need charges. If your rhetoric consistently circles minors in a sexual framing, that's enough for me to say, fuck this shit, I'm out. And I don't care who's mad at hearing that. When you joking like that about children, nigga, I start thinking, he might need his hard drive checked. When you start joking like that about children, nigga, I start thinking, buddy might not ever be left around my kid or any children, boy or girl. Now feel me on this. We drag the pastors, we drag the politicians, hell, we drag the teachers. But when it's a comedian we like, all of a sudden we become philosophers. Suddenly we're nuanced. All of a sudden we're defensive. No. Children are not a topic of debate. They're not a cultural thought experiment. They're not your edgy sandbox. If your material keeps orbiting minors, people are going to question you. That is just the protection. You don't get moral gray areas around kids. Not here, not anywhere. Not under the flag of comedy. Nobody is accusing you of a crime, technically speaking, but words matter. Patterns matter. Language matters. And when the language keeps circling back to children, we tend to speak, we tend to question. And people tend to push back. Because protecting kids isn't negotiable. Not for laughs, not for clout, not for anybody. Not even you, Corey Holcomb. Protect children first. Protect culture second. And protect reputation last. Because Corey Holcomb, these children didn't do you anything. Definitely not to be a butt of your jokes. And where is that punchline? That punchline ain't knock on my door. That punchline not sitting in my shoe. I don't know where that punchline is because I ain't laughed yet. Man, protect y'all kids. I'm the Prince of Petty. This has been Black Hypocrisy. Y'all be cool. I'm out.
I just been hustling my hoes. I just been dripping my hoes. Just a whole lot of loud shot. I got these hoes on their toes.